So, hello, I'm Holly, and I'm here with Mas and Elly, and they've just won a motion on banning the posting of Miss University of London event in SOAS. And I've got a question though. It's because it is quite a popular University of London event, and SOAS is, part of University of London. And, despite that, beauty pageants do objectify women. Should our students be given the sort of freedom of choice to either go see it or even participate in it?
Firstly, it's not a University of London event. It's an event run by a private individual to make money for himself. And actually most University of London colleges, which includes SOAS, among over 40 different ones, out of that only 3 of them, UCL, King's and LSE, actually officially take part. The rest of them do not, so hardly any University of London colleges actually support it. And even the unis that do support it, like LSE, the Women's Officer tried to almost got cancelled last year as well. So I think there's a lot of opposition from the grassroots up, a lot of pressure for it to be cancelled, because it's an event that, first of all, as an LGBT officer, I've never seen lesbian or trans women or self-defining women ever been able to take part. When you go on a website and you see all you get given is what's your bra cup size and what's your waist size, that gives a strong signal to young students, and especially dealing with LGBT students. About 35% of all lesbians attempt suicide at some point in their life. That's a third of them. And considering those kind of people, seeing those kind of images, if they don't fit into them, it's going to be, you can see the effect on their mental health.
Yeah, and first of all, I would like to say that we're not seeking to actively prevent SOAS students from taking part, because what is really important to us is to make sure that democratically there is that debate there. Because if the university were just not interested, like last year, and not choosing to sort of actively endorse or campaign against the event, it means there'll be the publicity there, and all people see is the flyer and think, oh, I'll take part in this, or just ignore it. So what we're seeking to do is to have the debate. So we're supporting events like the one next Wednesday on the 8th of October, which are debating the issue, and we're supporting campaigns. And what we were trying to stop it from being publicised within the union, but that didn't go through, unfortunately. But the motion was passed anyway.
Do you think it could be that because there are all sorts of banners around everywhere, it would be difficult to judge if a banner is deemed as, unsafe or offensive?
Would you like to take this one, because you spoke?
Can you repeat the question?
Right, it's mainly that, all sorts of banners are around, and how would we judge, and who would actually judge if, these beauty pageant banners are unsafe or
That's why we're
offensive?
specific, that it's not just about general ones. That's why we have a dedicated women's officer who is allowed to take down posters if it's very demeaning to women. So we have an elected official in place within the union who is able to actually take care of that remit. And that's why within the motion we're not trying to attack every single pageant that takes place. We're being very particular about the particular pageant that we feel is most worthy of our attention at the point.
So, you've mentioned that these beauty pageants do promote unhealthy self-image and impossible sizes. And the thing is, because we're at university level, we're not 14-year-old girls, or that's why perhaps because we're of an older age, it's easier for us to judge. And because there's so many different types of girls, how do we ask them to judge themselves?
Well, some might say that, but I think that subconsciously we are, psychologically everybody is trying to sort of find belonging somewhere. And if we're just constantly seeing these images which are encouraging you to form to gender binary or sexually binary notions, then that is like saying that you are being judged on your looks, and saying that if you don't fulfill this role, And at university, it's a very stressful time, and we're all trying to achieve something. We're all trying to sort of have control over our own lives. And issues like weight and your appearance is something that's a lot easier to control than like your grade that you might get in your dissertation. And statistically, like eating disorders and beauty, a sort of image consciousness is something that everyone is very aware of.
And finally, just one last question. Would you support a Mr. and Mrs. University of London?
It would, if it's still objectifying people, whether it's male or female, putting pressure on them, whether it's male or female, we would still oppose it, because at the end of the day, objectification, anything that makes people so much more image conscious, at especially a stressful time, especially a lot of freshers coming, trying to make new friends, and in that stressful time, they're being made to be a bit more image conscious, that's impacting on their mental and physical health as well, then we still oppose it. However, if it's something that is not based on trying to fulfill this ideal image of a woman with a big vest, tiny waist, and basically anorexic, then perhaps if it included trans students, self-defined women, for example, then we can consider it. But as long as it objectifies someone, whether it's male or female, or whatever you want to define as, we will still probably oppose it.
Well, I still would disagree with it, because I would just see it as a way of trying to push the beauty pageant through, but while trying to sort of constitutionally be okay, because I mean, there are Mr. pageants, and there are ones which, there is very few which have LGBT students taking part. And I mean, how many people attend the Mr. SOAS pageant, the Mr. University pageants, and the Miss Universe ones? It's always Miss World that you see. These pageants are just about judging women on their appearances. Like at the UGM earlier, the Miss SOAS from last year, she was saying, "Oh, I got through on what I was saying," but like the person speaking against that said, well, that's not on the forms. Like, in order to qualify, they don't say asking about how intelligent you are, or your beliefs, or your ideas and stuff. That's not what they're interested in. It's just a way of trying to push the pageants through.
And if you get a fat lesbian in a wheelchair, let's face it, is that the person going to be taking part?
Point taken.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.